Hi, I'm the creator of Mauga nipple PvE, and by somewhat popular demand, I'm going to tell you about how this bastard abomination came to be. I'm going to be answering questions like, what kind of drugs were you on when you made this? How many times do I need to drop my baby on its head so it can grow up to make the next Mauga nipple PvE? Well, wonder no more. If you're wondering what the fuck just came out of my mouth, Mauga nipple PvE is a brain-rotty custom game in Overwatch. Players alternate between doing objectives and shooting their ultimates into Mauga's mouth. It gets its name from the various atrocities players are subjected to, most involving his nipples being up to some bullshit. It's pretty popular, which probably doesn't bode well for the human race. So popular that Karq, J3, Frogger, and a few of the game's English voice actors have all played it and regretted it. It's also been played on this year's Pride Watch charity stream.
Next, secret sixth game, I have to give a massive shout out to our favorite custom game, Mauga's Nipple POV.
Like many of my other modes, Mauga nipple PvE is a revenge-fueled game mode, because I was really pissed about the state of custom games. One thing is the lack of workshop updates and bug fixes, obviously. You've probably heard about it before. All the experienced devs that made the workshop left the company. The workshop gets infested with bugs, and everyone who still makes stuff for the game is shown a massive middle finger. Another is the fact that most players play only brain-rotty game modes where you just shoot stuff all the time with no challenge. If that second one sounds familiar, it's because I joined the dark side. This isn't to say that those modes or their creators are bad, but it just means that interesting games that are really different from base Overwatch, or even just moderately challenging, are much less fun to play if they need other players to work. Many exciting custom games I found were just unplayable without people that were willing to stick around. Those other revenge modes I mentioned making are basically flops. They exist as jokes first and games second. I wanted to make the most abhorrent and ridiculous things I could within the strict limitations of the workshop. My aim with them was to shock people and get a good laugh out of them the first time they see it. But they're doomed to fail since there's no reason to replay them. Unlike my other game modes, I wanted people to actually play my new PsyOp this time, and so I devised the Double D plan for Mauga nipple PvE. Make something really disgusting happen, and make it a dopamine-pumping game that people can't help but play, just like those other game modes that are really popular. I wanted people to watch Mauga squirt molten chlor out of his nipples, and I wanted them to like it. For disgust, my choice of using Mauga's nipples was simply because that was the funniest thing I could think of that could maybe still be within Blizzard terms of service. And Mauga is the only character with both nipples out. It's also convenient that he's a pretty unserious character, and he makes funny faces whenever he's unfrozen and floating midair. To integrate Mauga's nipples into the game, my best idea was the threat system. Having objectives revolved entirely around the nipples, like in more Maugas, would just restrict me too much and get in the way of my other goal of making Q slop. My favorite threat is still Scalding Discharge, because it really looks like they're leaking. Just look at the projectiles and how they squirt out. As for maximizing dopamine with the core mechanics, I actually didn't know what a Destiny raid was until people started comparing the two games. I made the game that way just because I thought it was the best way to milk people's brains for dopamine. You get to hear constant elimination sounds, and then watch Mauga's health bar get drained as you dump alts onto him. It's like stuffing your face with 1 cup of corn syrup, and then 1 tablespoon of microplastics. You get the appeal of both boss raid games and zombie horde games. Dopamine maxing also means that I need to constantly feed my iPad kid players with constant stimulation by letting them shoot something all the time. That means short respawn timers and lenient mechanics. It makes more sense to dial things down, since the whole point is to kill their brain cells, and a dead player is an unstimulated player. I didn't want to completely lose the demographic of people who actually wanted some sort of a challenge though. So I added stuff like a round counter, timer, and death tracker to give those people some reason to keep playing. That worked pretty well in my favor, since there's quite a few people who have uploaded speedruns online. Besides that, I also added different objectives so players wouldn't get bored of being made to kill 60 mobs for the 100th time in a row. Despite the already low expectations I had for players, people would consistently prove themselves to be dumber than I could even imagine, and they'd often ignore capture points and page collection, and just opt to kill the Slenderman or shoot the trees instead of finding pages. And I'm not sure if this is my fault for not communicating this properly, but people still don't seem to understand that you need to shoot the weak spots in more Maugas.
Scrape it! Scrape it! Scrape that motherfucker! Scrape that shit, Johnny!
Outstanding.
I released the game into the wild to pretty positive results, but I could never beat Overwatch players at their own game of Brain Rot. I saw a lobby where the host had just removed all the cooldowns to make the ultimate slopfest, as is the custom. So I took a page out of their book and applied the 60% cooldown multiplier to everyone to really slop max the game, but without making it so easy that players would never go for another round. And with that, Mauga Nipple PvE was born. For my award speech, I'd like to thank the following people. Everyone who spread the word about Mauga Nipple PvE, streamers, Mauga Nipple PvE on Twitter, and everyone else who glazed it. Honestly, the fan account guy was probably the reason why my game could even get into the Pride Watch stream, so thanks for that. Everyone who shared bugs they found and posted their speedruns online. Lone Peer for translating the mode so that Korean players can also experience the horror of Mauga Nipple PvE. The workshop community for documenting all the weird, unstated behaviors, helping me with technical problems when I asked, and making resources for developers, especially the zombie, cactus puppy, and everyone else who worked on Overpie. The workshop would have been such a pain in the ass without it, and Dirk Dursky for donating $150 to Pride Watch under the game's name. Last and also least, you, for wasting your time playing the game where Mauga shoots lasers out of his nipples. It makes me really happy to see my vision come through, and to see so many people enjoying my work. I tried not to go into too much detail, like how I came up with each individual threat, or the technical details of the game. But if that's something you're interested in, feel free to ask in the comments. Thanks once again for playing Mauga Nipple PvE.
Heroes never die. Heroes never die.